How do you want to do this?
First, can you spell your first
First name is I-A-N-W, last name is M-C-D-O-U-G-A-L-L.
and your official title?
I'm the volunteer chairman of the board of the museum.
What's your reaction?
Sorry, just look sort of in the middle of the camera.
Yeah, I will. I mean, the reaction is very straightforward. We've managed in the last few months to turn the museum around. For the first time in a very long while, it's financially performing. We, on an operating basis, are able to meet the obligations. This appears to have been very bad news for Park Downsview. Their hope, I believe, was it would go into full default because they had other ambitions for the space. If we're able to preserve the asset value of the lease and meet its terms, then we have a right to stay here for 5 more years. So I must say that I think that what they've done is very disappointing. I'm very surprised. They're very competent, able people, but I think they've got a very different vision than we do. Museums are here for the public. This museum is starting to perform and do really useful service to the public. We house some of the most important aviation assets in the country. We have vast stores of archival materials, documents, photographs. We exist in Downsview Park, which is one of the most important, historically speaking, aviation centers in the country. Our neighbors are Bombardier de Havilland. There are many de Havilland artifacts in the museum. We perform an important role in connection with Bombardier, and we serve a very wide group of people in the public community. We provide meeting facilities, opportunities to learn more about the history and to connect the dots. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the largest source of secondary employment is within the precincts of Park Downsview. It's mostly aviation, and for the park to now be throwing this large an insult in the direction of aviation and attacking the museum bespeaks, I think, frankly, crass disinterest in what their primary mission is. Their primary mission is to serve the public and to encourage activities that are of public interest in the park, and this action clearly is not in furtherance of that mission.
What are the logistics of just getting all this stuff out of here? I mean, what are you guys going to have to do?
If we have to do that, and we're going to assert every right we have under the lease, if we have to do that, that would be a huge problem. It's unlikely that we could remount most of what you see here. It would be very hard to do. We need a new facility. It would take vastly more resources than we've got. We've been feeling really quite good, the group of people that joined the board about a year ago, we've all been feeling quite good that we managed to basically get the museum performing financially. To have this burden now of the capital cost of a new building somewhere undetermined, it would be huge.
How upsetting is this for you?
I think it's upsetting mostly for a huge client group. Personally, I find it extremely disappointing, but there are a lot of people beyond simply me and the board. There are many people out here who rely on this museum. And indeed, in general terms, it's part of the culture of the country. There is a hugely significant story of great value to the country, and if it goes, many people will be very upset. There will be a loss.
So you gave them partial payment. Did they renege on some kind of an agreement? Because you didn't pay. The museum wasn't able to pay in full what was owed.
Yeah, the museum had to deal, and this happened before my time, but it had to deal with a lease that was imposed on us, or on the museum, and the terms were crippling. There were very sharp escalators, and when I came aboard, it was financially underwater. There is a backlog. It's about 120, 130K. We were working with the park to try and beat down the backlog, but the park obviously made an assessment that there might be an opportunity here to take the building and rededicate it. Park Downsview Park is under a mandate from the federal government to cut costs and increase revenues, and the bonuses of the people who lead the park are tied to that kind of performance. As soon as that happened, they became very focused on us. And so when we showed up and said, now we can pay on an operating basis, and we're going to address the backlog, that wasn't good news. That was bad news for them.
What are the plans for this facility?
I don't know. I have no idea. McDonald's? I don't know. I mean, I'm being...
Remember to hockey.
We've heard that story. I can't tell you, but I think they believe that's a better dedication from the point of view of the public interest. That is great news for a very, very small community of people and very bad news for a very big community.
Thank you very much.